Well, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on. Right. That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say, they talk at you, not to you. And that's what she was doing. And she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the...
Whoopi Goldberg has long treated The View like her personal empire, silencing guests, bulldozing over opposing opinions, and delivering her takes as if they were absolute truth. But then came Caroline Leavitt. In one jaw-dropping episode, the undisputed queen of daytime TV was completely unseated. And what happened next? No one could have predicted it. The episode kicked off like any other, filled with smug laughter, sarcasm, and the usual panel nodding along in agreement. But the second Whoopi spoke, the entire energy in the room shifted. Something was about to go down.
Colleagues, I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time.
The hot topic of the day, wokeness. A concept The View defends like sacred doctrine no matter what. Feeling bold, Whoopi made the first move. Flashing her signature smirk, she zeroed in on Caroline and pointed a finger. Without wokeness, you wouldn't even have this job. The room fell silent in an instant. Even Joy Behar, known for her relentless jabs at conservatives, fidgeted in her seat. This wasn't just a debate. This was Whoopi outright dismissing Caroline's career, her intelligence, and her work ethic, reducing it all to nothing more than a byproduct of the ideology she stood against. A brutal, low blow. And yet, the audience still clapped along.
That was so good. So good. In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you know who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then
But Caroline didn't even blink. No defensiveness, no outrage, just a slow, knowing smile that screamed, "Oh, you just messed up big time." Then, with the kind of unshakable confidence that comes from knowing the facts are on your side, she methodically dismantled Whoopi's entire argument piece by piece. "This is unlike anything you've seen before," she began, her voice steady, "and we urge you to like and subscribe as we break it all down."
Most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
She started with cold, hard facts. Government spending reports revealing how taxpayer dollars were funneled into absurd woke projects, from gender studies in Guatemala to foreign Sesame Street programs designed to push American social activism overseas. With razor-sharp precision, she exposed how wokeness had morphed from a movement about fairness into a powerful political weapon, one used to silence anyone daring to think differently. Whoopi, so used to guests stumbling over their words under pressure, suddenly found herself cornered. For once, she wasn't the one in control. And even if she wanted to fire back, Caroline wasn't about to give her the chance.
Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
Whoopi opened her mouth, then shut it, tried again. Still nothing. The audience, usually eager to cheer on her sharp comebacks, sat in stunned silence. Even the camera crew hesitated. Should they zoom in on Whoopi's frozen expression? She looked like she wanted to disappear into her chair. And here was the real question. If wokeness is truly about diversity and inclusion, why is it that conservative women are always the ones under attack?
We can't allow on this show to have things said that we know for a fact are not true.
Now, Whoopi was realizing there was no comeback, no clever remark that could save her this time. Desperate to break the tension, Joy tried to salvage the moment with a nervous joke, but it was too late. The damage was done. And for the first time ever, Whoopi had managed to do something even she had never done before. And the internet went wild. But here's where it gets even crazier. This wasn't the first time Whoopi's words had landed her in trouble. Over the years, she has turned The View into a lawsuit magnet, dragging ABC from one controversy to the next. From her shockingly tone-deaf remarks about the Holocaust to her bizarre defenses of questionable figures, Whoopi has been at the center of some of the show's biggest, most jaw-dropping scandals.
That you saw live on this program yesterday. Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Caroline.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
No, you cannot be attractive and smart. I will try to give Joy the benefit of, oh, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Caroline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Caroline Leavitt worked, I mean, she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran
TV.
for Congress?
In New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of 25, put on a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Pregnant. Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives and this, again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job of
But nothing shook the network harder than the recent wave of defamation lawsuits. First from Carrie Underwood, then Elon Musk, and now Caroline Leavitt. And the irony, Joe Biden, the Democrats, and the ladies of The View never miss a chance to claim that President Trump is some kind of threat to democracy. Yet, they're the ones openly hoping he ends up behind bars, despite the fact that he hasn't even been convicted of a single crime.
Yeah, I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you, because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason, because Black people couldn't get into colleges, because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not Black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure.
Let's talk about Carrie Underwood. When she performed at Trump's second swearing-in ceremony, Whoopi and her co-hosts pounced like vultures. They mocked her, claimed she had ruined her career, and even hinted that she had aligned herself with hate. Underwood, usually one to stay out of the drama, had enough. She hit back with a $1 billion defamation lawsuit against The View. And when the case finally went to court, the truth exploded. Leaked emails revealed that ABC had orchestrated the attack on Underwood just to boost ratings.
Add one last thing. What was interesting to me is Dan Rather weighed in on X, and he said he compared our time now to the Nixon era, which was a little scary for me. But he said, enough with both sides-ism. When one side lies intentionally and repeatedly, they are no longer entitled to the benefit of the doubt.
And we should keep in mind, too, that the people that need to hear this are the people who are running the networks that are okaying this. Because this idea, it's like they say to you now, you can only work within this perimeter. Mm-hmm. But if the facts are not clear to people, that was what a journalist was there to do, to say, in fact, this is what went on and this is how we we've been given doubts that people don't know how to do this. The media has pretty much always been fair.
The lawsuit sent shockwaves through the industry, forcing ABC to cough up a massive settlement. One so big that executives started wondering if The View was even worth the headache anymore. But then came Elon Musk. For months, Whoopi had thrown every insult in the book at him, calling him everything from a dangerous billionaire to a threat to democracy. But when she and her co-hosts began spreading outright false claims about Twitter's policies under Musk, he did something no one saw coming. He sued.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help because voters are going to re-elect President Trump back to the White House very soon because voters see these trials that are being brought forward against President Trump for what they are. They are sham show trials. They are election interference in an attempt to imprison President Trump. And the irony in all of this is that Joe Biden and the Democrats and these ladies on The View constantly say President Trump is the alleged threat to democracy, when in fact they themselves are wishfully thinking that President Trump will be imprisoned when he has not been convicted of any crimes. That is the real threat to democracy. Voters see that, and that's why President Trump continues his dominance in the polls, not just with Republicans and independents, but he's also picking up historic gains with Democrat constituencies such as African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and union workers.
And when Musk sues, he doesn't play games. ABC was thrown into full-blown damage control. Again, behind the scenes, whispers spread like wildfire. Advertisers were growing sick and tired of The View's endless controversies. But just when it seemed like things couldn't possibly get worse for Whoopi, they did. Sponsors started pulling out. Advertisers wanted nothing to do with a show where the host storms off instead of standing her ground in a debate. Even longtime The View fans were starting to wonder, had the show finally gone too far?
To each side. Mm-hmm. And now when we've gone to this place where you only hear this, see, we have to tell you both sides. That's why Alyssa's here. That's why Anna's here, because we don't all think the same way. And it's like you all don't think the same way. So you want to hear what other people say. But when they're lying, we can't have it. We can't allow on this show to have things said that we know for a fact are not true. That's what it used to be. That's what it needs to go back to be. And that's where y'all come in. It's okay to feel how you feel, but demand the truth. Demand folks fact check what they're telling you, because what they're telling you is important.
Then came the bombshell no one saw coming. ABC removed Whoopi Goldberg from The View. Of course, they didn't say she was fired. Instead, they rolled out their usual PR spin, claiming she was taking a break to focus on other projects. But let's be real, everyone knew the truth. She got the boot. For years, Whoopi ruled The View with an iron grip, turning what was supposed to be a discussion panel into a full-blown echo chamber, where only one side of the argument was ever welcome. She belittled, dismissed, and silenced guests without a second thought. But one debate with Caroline Leavitt flipped everything upside down. And now, The View was in absolute chaos.
A seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
All right.
What'd she say?
She basically said that they were going to give
Oh,
unqualified
God, how boring.
unqualified
Can they get
people
somebody there who's not
The
so
Behind the
tedious?
Table podcast needs to apply for White House credentials.
Oh, they'd love having Joy in that room.
Joy
So
can
I
go
got
ask
a
that
question. So wait a second. So in other words, instead of Bob Woodward, they want Kim Kardashian? What? I don't get it.
Would ABC bring in another Whoopi-like figure to take her place? Or would they finally admit that the show desperately needed balance? Could The View even survive this kind of backlash? And more importantly, had Caroline just set a new standard for how conservatives fight back against the media? Whoopi thought she could steamroll Caroline like she had done to so many before. Instead, she got completely wrecked in front of millions of viewers. Now, as ABC scrambles to clean up the fallout, the world is watching. Would they finally pull the plug on The View? Or could Whoopi actually make a comeback?
Attacking a woman for her looks or age isn't very progressive. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Kosha, particularly that last clip that we played, it was so condescending. The way that she was scolding her as if she was a schoolgirl, suggesting she needed to do her homework. I find it so hypocritical when these so-called, caring, progressive voices just turn so nasty like that.
Yes, and as you mentioned, with conservative women, there's a long list of that, both of Trump's previous press secretaries, females, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, other figures like his campaign manager the first time, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Palin very famously had to bear the brunt of a lot of this. So people are used to that. I think in their bubble of the audience that The View speaks to, that's probably kind of what the group think is. So one defense, I guess, is that she was speaking to her audience, but you take it outside of that bubble the way you are right now, and we all can see what it is. It was also interesting, too, because she was conflating two ideas.
While I vow to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House.
Boo. She's got more.
I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
Bam! It's on in the middle of the night.
Rockstar.
Meantime, new rock star launched overnight. Now, I know she's been around for some time, but how's this? She's just 27, but she's fantastic. This is the brand new press secretary representing the president. Now, remember old Caroline Jean-Pierre just lying to people about how amazing Biden was, deep fakes. The one before that, Jen Psaki, circle around just telling lies. Well, they've been replaced with a lady called Karoline Leavitt. I repeat. You can see she's a lady of faith. She's a lady who knows how to fire guns recreationally, and she knows how to drop a few bombs verbally on a press pack that, remember, covered up for Biden and have told the worst possible lies about incoming future Hitler Trump. Have a look at her taking control of a room of people who normally wouldn't even roll their eyes at a person like him.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video.